to LOA Today. I'm Walt Thiessen. With me today are the dynamic duo of Daniel Mangana and Alex Standy. This is your Daily Dose of Happy. We are so happy you decided to join us today. And Daniel will be along shortly. He's doing some breathing right now, which is a good thing. No, he's doing some very specialized group-led breathing, which apparently helps with body and soul. So, but he thought that might spill a little bit over into what we do here, so he'll be a little bit late, but yeah, he'll be along shortly. But anyway, I wanted to kind of continue an on again, off again theme we've been exploring the last week, ever since Kelly Coulter sat in for you and Dan last week, and we were talking about Facebook groups as a way to start building a second income. And I posed the question to her. My opinion is that you can take any subject, any topic, doesn't matter what it is. It's just as long as it's something that's of interest to you, that you love, that you could write about, you could say stuff about it, you could take pictures about and so forth, and turn it into a Facebook group. And if you stuck at it and you kept building it up, you could turn it into a second income, maybe a passive income, maybe a coaching something. I mean, you could do a lot of different things. She instantly agreed with that. And so that's just become kind of a sort of a secondary theme running through the last few shows. So I figured I'd carry it on today because Daniel is a very successful online entrepreneur. He's got a group of, I think, 1,300 people, something like that.
Oh, yeah. Wasn't that his job before he got into coaching and stuff?
Well, I think they kind of all go together. I think I mean, like he has all kinds of stuff going on,
right?
More than you can shake a stick at. So, right. So I
He's
figure
got people for his people.
He does, which is, I think they call that reach, which is a good thing. But, but yeah, I mean, he's really, really good at it. So I figure we could just kind of do some quizzing of him when he gets here onto the show. But in the meantime, you and I can chat about it because you got a group going, and I don't know how much you've been putting in on it. I think you pretty much just do it for fun, which is fine. But what do you
fun
do?
Information, Yeah.
I mean, this is the TV show group, right?
Yep.
And what do you do to keep it building, to keep it growing?
I like to stick things out there. Like I'll ask people, oh, hey, I just saw this episode of this. Does anybody else see it? Let's talk about it. Or, I'll ask when people join the group, what's your top 3 favorite TV shows? So I can make sure I keep track of those TV shows so people are seeing in the group things that they like. Yeah,
that's something that a lot of people have been mentioning both on the show and off the show to me lately. The idea of polling, asking a polling type question to see how people respond to it. Because
plus that way you get to see who's active in your group and who's not paying attention.
Oh yeah, no doubt about that. And well, there's actually a kind of a little mini industry on Facebook lately where there are these, I don't know what they are. There's some sort of entrepreneurs who pose these ridiculous questions. Bet you can't answer this. And of course, it's the easiest thing in the world to answer. And they get 25,000 people answering it. So they get all this engagement. And then they ask another dumb question. It's just like one after another. Like, I bet you can't come up with a dog's name that has an A, that doesn't have an A in it. You're like, oh, come on. But they get so much response on that kind of thing, But it does show.
Most of the scammers, that's what that is.
Yeah, I was digging into it. I was trying to figure out what their angle is.
Their angle is to get you to click on the link that they put in the comment and steal your information. That's what it is.
But they can't really steal the information.
Not per se, but when you click on the link, all your stuff becomes their stuff.
Yes and no. I mean, there are limits to what they can get.
Yeah, there's limits, obviously.
Yeah, and they're
not
fairly strict.
From clicking on the link.
Like for instance, they can't get your email account. For instance, they can't get your email address.
No, but they can take over your Facebook and hack people that way.
Well, if they're a really good hacker, they don't need to do that in order to hack.
Right.
I mean, because if what you're saying is true, then every single advertiser could be a hacker.
No, that's what I'm saying. These aren't hackers. These aren't expert people. These are just people trying to.
I don't think they're not really hacking anything.
Well, the main point is that when you click on it, they get paid. So that's the whole point of the.
But that's the question. How are they getting paid? Like, where's the money stream coming from? That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Oh, you mean who's paying the people that make the links?
Yeah. I mean, because somewhere along the line, well, but something like that's going on. That's what I was trying to figure out. Where's the money coming from? Mm-hmm. The closest thing I can think of is because of the way Facebook and a lot of the social media sites work, the more engagement you have, the more reach you have for messages you want to put out. So maybe they also have advertising messages of their own that they put out and they resell it or something like that. I'm not sure exactly what they're doing. But they got quite the racket going. I will give them credit for that. And I found out how they, no, go ahead, finish what you're saying.
I was going to say, every time I see something like that says, oh, I bet you can't think of a word that has 2 O's in it. Yeah. And then they put their link down below and then you're like, wait, what's this link? Or like, oh, if you can get $10,000 if you can name somebody who doesn't have an A at the end of their name or something.
Oh, well, that's almost certainly a scam. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I actually busted one of those the other day.
Oh, nice. What happened?
Yeah. It was in a law of attraction group. It was actually a group that is run by a woman named Jeanette Ma, who is I believe her role is she was the coach who taught Cindy Chavez how to be a coach. In other words, she went to coaching school. And she has this group. I don't remember what the group is called. Somehow I got into it. I didn't even know I was in it. But this message comes through and the message is a graphic of a bunch of rows of numbers and they're all 803, 803, 803 up and down.
Oh, I've seen that one. Yep.
Yeah. Except a few of them that are wrong. And you're supposed to, if you're the first person who can identify what's wrong on it, you'll win a prize. Well, it sure sounded like a scam to me. So I figured I'd give it a shot just to see if I could, detect the scam. And within minutes, got an instant message from the person who had posted it. And the person said, I need to have your email address. Well, that of course sent the antenna up. But I have a number of email addresses, including one I really don't care about that is about to go away anyway. So I gave her that one, no problem. Then she said, what platform do you want to be paid on? Do you want to use PayPal or Venmo or, what do you want? What do you want to use to receive the money? I said, okay, well, I'll go for PayPal. They're pretty secure and I know them real well. And so if she tries to pull something, I'll know what it is. So I said, okay, PayPal. And she says, okay. And then the other thing we have to do in order to protect your security is we have to set up 2-factor authentication on Facebook. And I said, wait a minute. You don't need 2-factor authentication on Facebook. You don't need to set up 2-factor authentication on Facebook in order to get paid on PayPal. It doesn't work that way.
One is not conducive to the other. Nice try.
And so I said that, and then it was crickets.
Yeah.
And so I started clicking, and the post on the group disappeared. The profile disappeared. Everything disappeared within seconds.
It was like a ghost posted it.
Yeah. So I did report it to Facebook so they could track it down, which I'm sure they'll be able to do. But that was kind of interesting thing. I told this story earlier in the week because it was a double whammy. On Monday, I did an interview with a woman from South Africa who has busted a bunch of scams in the cryptocurrency world. And she did a lot of talking about that. So, of course, the law of attraction said that this story was going to happen on Tuesday. And then 5 minutes after this happened, another one happened, but this one was offline. I got a letter in the mail 5 minutes after I busted this one. I got a letter in the mail from what looked like the state of Connecticut asking us to renew the, how do they phrase it? I don't remember how they phrased it exactly. Basically, every year you have to go in and file what they call your annual report on your LLC. And we have an LLC for the gardening business. But that's in January. It's not in November. Right. And the form basically said you have to do it now and you have to pay a $340 fee to do it. So wait a minute, that's not right. I know that's not right. But the form looked authentic until I realized it didn't have a state of Connecticut letterhead. And so I looked at the fine print and it said, this is not associated with the state of Connecticut. So they were trying to cover their tracks. Yep. But it was really well done. I mean, it was very convincing. Oh my goodness.
I had an email from, I want to say it was either Venmo or PayPal. I'm pretty sure it was PayPal. And looked real. It looked real. And I scrolled all the way to the bottom looking for their information, making sure it was really them. And they were like, your account has been frozen. You need to log in. You need to click this link in order to unfreeze it. I'm like, let me double check. So I X'd out. I went to my PayPal account.
Exactly.
So I was like, nah, delete. You're not going to get me today.
That's exactly what it was. You're right. That was a good catch. Exactly. Yeah. Right. And sometimes they are hard to spot. I mean, I can usually spot it through the email address that sent it because it's
Yeah, usually it's misspelled or something's off or it's capitalized or something weird's off.
or even if everything's correct there, I know how to look at what they call the source of the email. Most people don't know how to do that.
What's
And
that?
there's actually source code, kind of like on a web page. I don't know if you know how a web page goes together, but there's like HTML code that runs the web page. You can actually view that code. You can view the HTML code. Well, you can do the same thing with an email. There's a way you can actually look at the code of an email, and the code shows you the real stuff and the fake stuff. It shows you everything.
Okay.
So it's actually possible to find out where it really came from, even if it shows what looks like a legitimate address.
Yeah.
So that's what I do because I know how to do that. But most people don't have a clue.
It doesn't sound like something they teach in computer class.
No, it's not an easy one. No. You got to really know what you're doing to figure that out.
Yeah, I definitely didn't learn that on Thursday.
Yeah. So that's why I get people coming to me, hey, could you tell me if this is real or not? Yeah, no, that one's fake. It's fake. Ignore it.
Yeah, you can usually tell if you really if you don't just gloss over it real quick and click on stuff, if you really read it and think about it, you're
most
like,
of them.
This is a scam. This is a scam.
Yeah, most of them, they're telltales. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't remember the last time I saw an email that was so well done it looked authentic.
I don't know.
It's been a while.
Oh, I get the real good ones from Amazon, but not
really?
from Amazon. But yeah, they look legit.
I can't say I've even seen any good Amazon duplicates, but that's all right. It's perception. But anyway, we're way off the topic.
Because it's Thursday.
Well, it's Thursday. Yes, that's right. Thursday's always just crazy day.
For facts.
It really is. But no, I want to get back to what we were talking about before. We kind of got sidetracked on this whole thing about these people who figured out how to get super numbers of comments and clicks and all that kind of stuff, and trying to figure out how they were making the money off of it. But the point I wanted to make there is, even if you got all of that stuff going, well, the 2 points I want to make, even if you got all that stuff going, it doesn't mean you actually have access to people's private information. I want to kind of put that one to bed. Doesn't mean that Facebook doesn't collect the private information. It just means that just because you're advertising or engaging in a some sort of a campaign or something like that, that you're going to have access to it. No, it's not the way it works.
Well, I wasn't saying, I don't think these people that are doing this are from Facebook.
Oh, I know they're not.
Yeah.
But I also know they don't have access to the information that Facebook has.
True that.
Yeah. So I mean, Facebook does a lot of things wrong. I want to give them credit where I can give them credit.
Yeah. Don't you mean Meta?
Oh, yes. Excuse me, Meta. Yeah, that's a whole storyline there.
I don't like that. I don't do well with change, so.
Well, it's more than that for me, because one of the things that people may not realize is if you're trying to, like I'm putting together this summit, and I'm planning, hopefully going to do it in January, and it's about teaching people how to create a Facebook group and turn it into a business, and bring in a bunch of speakers to present, people who are expert at this sort of thing. So I went and got a domain name, and the domain name was a Facebook group summit. I forgot something that I knew, and that is, if you put a big corporation's name in a domain name, they'll use that as grounds to sue you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Which is really crazy. But when you think about it, it also kind of makes sense, because they would either have to do that or buy all the domain names, and why bother to buy all the domain names if they can just threaten to sue you, because they're a lot bigger than you are. So,
True.
Yeah. But, in the process of going through that little lesson reminder, oh yeah, that's right. They don't want it in the domain name. You can be anywhere else in the address. It can be on the page. It just can't be in the domain name. It's a very strange thing. It's really odd the way these large companies think about these things. But sorry, that's a diversion again. Where was I going with that? Oh yeah. As I was kind of playing with, what kind of wording do you use when you're trying to put this stuff together? It also led me into the realm of how do you actually do some of the things that we're trying to promote with this thing that I'm putting together, because there's a lot of stuff that's confusing. And it's not just with groups. It's with Facebook pages. It's with their marketplace. It's with every single thing that you can find there. And it's not just Facebook either. I mean, all of them, LinkedIn, Twitter, even now the TikTokers and, you know, even the Snapchatters. I mean, there's just stuff in there. The way that the companies put these things together, it's like you run into one roadblock after another and you don't know why the roadblocks are there.
Right.
And there's no explanation. Well, there's an explanation somewhere, but you have to know where it is to go find it.
Yeah.
Which is probably, this is my point, it's probably the number one reason why people shy away from trying to get something going where they can actually attract an income using like a little online business they've set up for themselves. Because there's a lot of roadblocks that get set.
Hold on 1 second.
Oh. And there she goes.
Sorry, somebody's playing video games.
Ah, okay. I thought it was another roadblock. I wasn't sure. But you know what I mean? I mean,
yeah, I do.
A lot of the stuff doesn't have good explanations.
No.
And if you're trying to set something up and you run into something that doesn't make any sense, there's nobody to ask.
Yeah, you go to the help desk and they're like, well, these are a list of questions you might have. And
yes, right.
That's not helpful.
And it's presented by a bot that you can't even talk to.
Yeah,
anyway.
and I'm like, I need a human, please.
That's right. Yeah, good. Unless you're doing a paid advertising campaign, good luck getting a human to Facebook. It's not going to happen.
Not even Facebook, just in general. Like, I can't even call my cable company. They're like, you can go online and talk to the bots. And I'm like, I just need a human to come to my house.
You know what I've learned with those bot chats?
Yeah.
Tell them something that they can't possibly understand. Because they eventually come up and say, let me connect you to somebody who can help you with this.
Yeah. I do that when I'm on the phone. Like they'll be like, how can I help you? And they're like, say what your issue is. And I just don't say anything. And then after 2 tries, they're like, all right, let me get someone who can help you.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
It even works with gibberish. You can type gibberish and it does the same thing.
Well, that's just fun.
It is. I spend enough time on online chats to try to figure out all kinds of fun ways to endure what you're having to do to dig at finding out the truth.
That way I can start practicing how to spell supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
There you go. Yeah. But, so anyway, I think that's part of my theory, that people kind of get turned off by the fact that there's these, people call these like tech issues. They're not really tech issues. They're design issues. But, well, they are. They're software design.
But didn't the technician design them? So it's still a tech issue.
I suppose, yeah. But if you look at it that way, then anything in the world is a tech issue because everything's run by technicians these days.
Facts.
Yeah. So now, does the phrase meaning anything anymore?
It's still a tech issue, no matter what. Do I need a tech to solve it? Yes, it's a tech issue.
Oh, okay. That's a good way to look at it.
Yeah,
I can see
that's
that.
how I see it.
So anyway, I think we can say that what we're generically calling tech issues is probably the number one block. What are some of the other blocks you think that make it hard for people to, just kind of deal with the idea of trying to set something up and then actually succeeding with it? I personally think a lot of the blocks come from within, kinds of stuff we talk about here on the show. Mm-hmm. But do you think there are any other external blocks?
Glitches in the software. Tech
Which
issues.
Is more tech issues. Yeah.
I'm trying to think what else. Just misinformation, I guess, or what you were saying earlier about there's not enough information, and the information you do have is very confusing. So
there's an information overload is what it really is.
Well, that too. You start trying to get to the bottom of it, and it's just so much information that you just never mind. I don't even want to. It's not worth it.
And unless you know what questions to ask, like somebody like me who's been in the industry, you're lost a lot of the time.
Mm-hmm. That's why I need humans. I need someone to understand that I don't understand.
Right. That's right. Yeah. Which is kind of funny when you think about it, because the whole social media thing evolved to get away from person-to-person conversations. And what's it going to do? It's going to work back all the way to person-to-person conversations.
Yep.
I guess that's one of those things you just can't get away from, which is a good thing. I like that.
Apparently.
Yeah, that's very good. So, okay. So you talked about the kinds of posts you like to do to kind of build your group up. You do polls and you ask people about the latest shows.
My regular posts are usually information I get from other websites. Like for I have my Google set up to notify me about different TV shows and stuff like that. I have a TV Guide set up to give me information. So I get my information from a lot of different places. But what I do is I take them all and I just put them all in one place so people can go, oh, my show's back, or oh, I missed this episode.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
Yeah.
And how does it receive? I mean, how do people respond to what you're doing with them?
You know what's funny? Dan is my number one contributor on that group.
Why am I not surprised?
He is on top of it. He'll be. I mean, it's 3:00 in the morning for us.
Of course.
But for him, he's like, "What did I miss?
Right.
So good. Should I watch it?" I was like, "I'll tell you at 11 a.m. I'll be back."
11, yes.
But
we'll be back after these messages.
People, it's fun watching other people interact on the group that you set up. It's like you're helping people make friends. It's good.
That's a really important point because it is fun once you get past that setup phase. Yeah.
If it's not fun, you shouldn't be doing it.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. It's very true. How do you keep it fun?
I think by not adding money to it, honestly.
Oh, okay.
I think that the fact that there's no pressure keeps it fun.
Well, yeah, the moment you're thinking about the money as pressure, you're right. You just made things miserable for yourself. Which is why I think a lot of this is mindset.
True that.
Right? Because if you can go into it with the mindset that you can have the money and it doesn't have to be stressful, that's a different kettle of fish. Yeah. So, and that's what my goal is, I think. My goal is to help people get that mindset. Yeah. It's the same mindset we talk about all the time, but now we're applying it in a particular area. Because the thing I keep thinking about a lot, and it's not just where money is concerned, we have a really good listenership. A listenership that really knows law of attraction, conscious creation, and all that kind of stuff. But there's also a broader community that hasn't heard LOA Today, that perhaps doesn't have quite the level of sophistication, shall we say. And you can see them all the time on the Facebook groups. They're struggling. Yeah. They're struggling to understand how to apply this stuff. Money being one of the prime ones. I'm trying to attract this money and the money isn't coming in. Right? I mean, they're the big three, right? There's the money, there's relationships, there's health. Those are like the big three.
Those are the big three, right? Yep.
Yeah. And money's usually at the top of the list. And it's like the stopping point for so many people.
Yeah. Because money makes the world go round and money does this and money does that. So I need lots of money and all the money.
Of course, that all by itself is a lack mindset.
Yeah.
But hence the challenge. That's the problem. Yeah. That's the thing to overcome. And that's why I keep thinking about how can we, it's not just how can we help people to get past this stuff? And I'm seeing, this is just a moment ago, Gregory in the live stream asking, can I ask questions here? Absolutely. Yes.
Ask away.
Toss them into the chat there and we'll bring them onto the show and discuss them and see if we can help you out. Because that's really what we're talking about here. How do we help people out to get past these little blocks or these big blocks or these monstrous blocks?
Pivot. That's what we're doing.
To pivot and to shift the way that we think about things. So that's really what the big deal is. But still, I keep coming back to the practical area. Are they going to bomb us now? No.
You forget I'm in between the airport and I'm also in between the Coast Guard? No, what's over there? Not the Air Force. I don't know, somebody. But they got planes. Some part of the military is over there and they got planes. I don't know.
Okay, all right.
But we're always in a flight path.
I wasn't sure if I should, hit the barracks or what, but
it's louder on the mic than it actually is in the room.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
But Yeah, but that's been the big question I keep coming back to over and over again. How can we help people to deal with it in their real lives? I mean, the most popular thing we talk about here is how to change your mindset so that you can handle it better, which is a very valuable thing to do.
Yep.
But still, people want the actual stuff to show up.
Well, they want the step-by-step instructions. That's what they need. They need the play-by-play.
Yeah.
I think by leading by example is the best way to do it, honestly, that by sharing our stories every week and seeing how we get through stuff.
I think that helps a lot. Yeah.
I agree.
And I think that's kind of what I'm trying to translate over to the online experience too.
Mm-hmm.
Had another interesting thing happen this week because I realized that I was kind of a little bit shy. Other than the audience of the LOA Today podcast, I didn't really have a whole lot of audience to reach out and talk about the summits to. So I figured, I better start building up some audience, which actually works out pretty nicely because that's part of what we'll be talking about when the summit comes around. So nothing like having a little real world thing to deal with. Oh, Gregory tossed the question up there. Let's put it up on screen and you and I can kind of go after it. He said, recently I have been making huge profits on my online business. Congratulations.
Nice.
How do I stretch out this period of sales and keep making profit? My business is sell feet pics to people online for exorbitant prices. Okay.
This is not happening in real life. Oh my God. I don't know if to take this seriously or not, but I'm going to answer it like we should.
I don't think I've ever seen you fall over like that. That was pretty good.
I do it a lot, actually, when it's really comical. That's when you know I'm dead. I can't.
I mean, you practically fell out of frame. That was really
cool. I sure did. Okay.
So we're going to treat this like a serious question? Is that what
you're saying?
Have to? Well, I actually, if we're going to treat it as a serious question, I want to know more about this selling feet pics business. I want to know.
I can tell you all about it. My sister's got an OnlyFans. What?
Okay.
Just showing her feet. That's it.
Okay.
Yep. And she makes money off of it.
And she does. All right. So this is probably serious then.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why I'm laughing so hard because but nobody really talks about it, but people do it all the time. Dan, read the comment.
Dan Mangana joining us here trying to figure out what the heck is going on.
Read the comment at the bottom of the screen and welcome to Thursdays.
I just came off a breathwork, so that's why I'm a little bit breathwork and sound healing with my shaman. So,
ooh, look at you.
Yeah.
That must have been wonderful.
It was wonderful. I feel really great and really not really here. So
we'll give you a minute to settle in there because it's really unfair to hit you with this question right off.
No, I'm game. Let's do it.
He's ready. Let's go.
So we're talking about online businesses and how do you promote them? And we've got a question from the live stream from Gregory, who I'll read the question again. He says, recently I've been making huge profits on my online business. How do I stretch out this period of sales and keep making profits? My business is I sell feet pics to people online for exorbitant prices.
Okay.
That's what I said. Okay.
I don't know. Take more pictures of feet. I don't know.
And that's why I was asking Alex, is this serious? And she says, yes. There are people who, I've never even seen this. I don't even know what this is.
Yes, Brenda Rogers. Real life is stranger than fiction.
It certainly is. No,
I don't think this is real. Look at his name.
Oh, yes. Yep. Missed it. You're right.
Very clever. Okay.
Troll.
Someone was being entertaining.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Gregory. We appreciate the laugh.
I know that world is real. I know that world is real because
it is.
A lady that I used to date actually got money in New York. She's from the UK. She was in New York and got money for people just to look at her feet.
Yep.
There was a foot party where people that pay a lot of money to go to this foot party and they get to look at people's feet at this party.
Yep.
So a part of me is like, I know that there's some truth to this.
Yeah.
And a part of me like knows there are people called buttocks. But there's a combination of things going on here that kind of makes. And if I'm wrong, I apologize profusely. I truly do.
We all apologize if we're wrong, but we're going to go with not.
I noticed that Gregory hasn't actually contradicted us.
Right.
So I'm going with,
It could be that it's a real person that chose a funny name just for the sake of choosing a funny name. And if that's the case, or it could be that someone that just happens to have that name, happens to have this business and happens to be here having this conversation.
But there's a definite theme there.
Yeah. There's
feet and buttocks. I mean, that's a theme.
So how do I stretch this out and keep making a profit? Well, why don't we just give a general thing for someone who's making profits online?
That's a good one. Yeah, let's go with that instead of getting hung up on what this particular one is. Yeah.
So someone's making huge profits online. So there's a law of subconscious momentum, which is one of the primary universal laws. The law of subconscious momentum says that something will continue until it's disrupted. So basically, until a state of flow is changed, then things will go the same way. So unless something comes in to disrupt the flow of business moving in that way, then it will continue. However, we do know that strange things happen, such as worldwide pandemics that everybody gets told to shut down, but you're online, so you shouldn't really be impacted by that. So as an online business that doesn't sell a fixed product, so it's probably selling prints, maybe they're selling one-of-one pieces, nothing should change, but remaining adaptable to change, understanding what's working in your business and what's not. Where are you getting traffic that's working? Where are you trying to get traffic and it's not working? So, for example, me using ads to sell stuff directly doesn't work for me. It's out of alignment with my money DNA. It's out of whack with how I am. But referrals works wonderfully. So I focus on making sure that I take really good care of people that refer me business, and really nourishing and nurturing the people in our community so they get great results and they want to share about our community, and make sure that we let them know that there's an opportunity for them to make money by sharing us with other people. There you go.
That's beautiful. I love that because, well, among other things, what you brought in is a concept that's pre-internet. I mean, referrals have been driving businesses for generations.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and here you've basically adapted the online world to do the same thing. That's pretty darn cool.
Yeah. So,
and very successful.
If anyone's in that same situation, look at those points. Gregory, if I've insulted you by making reference to your name, I apologize. No shade. I know that business does exist.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know. That was news to me. I got to tell you.
Yeah. I nearly said her name there, but somebody that I know made money with people looking at her feet.
That's pretty wild.
Yeah.
I do know there have been some pretty unusual businesses. I know there's a guy who created a website for posting pictures of clouds, and he's a millionaire.
Yep.
He just charges people to post pictures about clouds. That's it.
There's something out there for everyone.
I mean, wow. I never would have guessed that one. So
there's a lot of cloud watchers out there. You'd be surprised.
I'm not surprised anymore after hearing about what this guy did.
Yeah. Well, think about if somebody did the same thing with bird watching. That's not as shocking because people bird watch.
It's true. Kind of makes me wonder why I haven't heard that story yet, but give it time.
Right.
So, all right. So let's go back to what you were talking about with your business, Daniel, because I mean, you are immensely successful and you've done almost everything you do is online. I mean, you do some in-person presentations and conferences, but you're pretty much online for everything, aren't you? Yeah, pretty much. Is that what you attribute your success to more than anything else in terms of what you do, not in terms of, your vibration and your mindset and so forth, but just the actions that you take?
So my approach to everything is not one dimensional. It's cross. So I attribute the success of any endeavor, mine or anyone else's, to being a combination of aligned action, a belief system that facilitates having the thing, a frequency that matches the thing, and a clear intention of what that thing looks like. So it's the whole.
So you don't separate the mindset out at all. It's
No.
part and parcel.
All of it's together. And that, you know, most of my work, the work that's in this book, the work that's in this book, the work that we do with Micro to Millions, the whole thing, this is one of the biggest ways that we separate what we do from what other people do, that we don't just come and, we're going to heal your generational frequency, Dubry what's it, or we're going to teach you how to get really clear. Clarity's coming your way. Here's the best strategy. What? It's like, yeah, but you can have the best strategy. If you don't believe it's possible for you, it's not going to do anything. You have the best strategy. If your frequency's off, nothing's going to happen. You can have the cleanest frequency. If you don't believe it's possible, nothing's going to happen. You can have the most clarity. If you don't have the frequency, nothing's going to happen. So they all have to be there. We've just got an interesting way of approaching getting that alignment into place with the different steps. So we use collaborative intentions. We use a specific approach to the frequency question. We bypass limiting beliefs. We don't even deal with them. We just leave them there and take the highway past them. And we use Money DNA to make sure that we're completely dialed in with what works for us rather than us having to hustle at all. That's the way that we roll it.
Talk about the collaborative intentions. That's a fascinating concept.
Yeah, Lynn McTaggart did the science on this. That 8 people or more hold a specific intention. The fiber of reality can literally change. In her book, Power of 8, she meticulously did very clean scientific research to show what happens when 8 people hold an intention for just 10 minutes. Just 10 minutes.
10 minutes, that's kind of scary when you think about it.
Right? Because look how many people are holding negative intentions for much longer than 10 minutes.
Well, I always take solace in the knowledge that the positive intentions are 1,000 times more powerful than the negative ones. Otherwise, I'd be freaked out by now.
Yeah.
But, yeah. And I've experienced it too. I know. I mean, I've been in environments where I was surrounded by negativity, and if I was able to maintain my own focus anyway, it went around me. It didn't even touch me. Whatever the thing was, it just didn't even affect me. So I know it works, but I do love the idea of what happens when you have a number of people all focused on the same thing with the same level of vibration. I mean, how do you go about doing that with your crew? I mean, is there like a method you use, or how do you get yourselves all there?
Yeah. So, we overlay it with some other parts of my work. So we do some, so I adapted some of the work of Jose Silva and some other stuff that I've done in the past to develop this concept that I call construct work. So we actually create, this is going to sound really wild. It's more tangible than it's about to sound. So bear with me. We create another dimension where we're all connected to, and we add our commitment and connection to the intention into that space, and then set the intention that every single person who's ever going to use that same intention also is adding them into that space. So because time isn't real, we basically create this out of time pocket where we're all connected to the energy of that collaborative intention, overlaying it with the ability to accept the belief system that we've been given through Lynn McTaggart's work, that it only took 8 of us to get it kickstarted. So we've basically, one of the secret sources of why people get the results that they do with the stuff that we do is because we've created a plug socket that you can plug into and get your abundance.
I like that.
That's very cool. I like it too. The crazy woo-ness of it actually doesn't blow my mind as much as trying to imagine how you actually do it. I mean, we talk about so much woo on the show. I'm really used to it. That part doesn't blow my mind, you know.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking about the actual process. You got 8 people, I imagine mostly virtually.
It was all virtual. All virtual. But physical separation is also an illusion too.
Well, it is. But nevertheless, wherever they are, it doesn't really matter where they are, getting them all to do that, because that's a very specific focus you're talking about there.
But it's guided.
Really specific.
It was a guided process. It was guided and recorded.
Oh.
So they didn't have to I got them into a hypnotic trance and then took them through a process so that they could connect to that space and develop an affinity with it. And now it's there. So now whenever they do, so each of the steps, so for those unfamiliar, Micro to Million can take you from 0 to 1.6 million by breaking it down into 14 steps. Because if you take $100 and double it 14 times, you get 1.6 million. So what we do at each and every one of those steps, there's one of those recordings available for you to plug in and get the power to do that step. So it's not, here's a plug socket, go and be a millionaire. It's, here's a plug socket, let's get you to 200. Here's a plug socket, 400, plug socket, 800. So we've broken it down into micro shifts. So the level of belief, because most of the time our intention is actually inhibited by our belief system.
Yes.
The level of belief that's required to make the leap is much smaller because you're only growing by the same amount that you've already grown. So by the time you get to the point of turning 100 into 200, you already turned nothing into 100. So the belief system that you've got doesn't require stretching. Then when you go from 200 to 400, you've just doubled. That's it.
Yeah.
And so the question I always ask people is, if I gave you $500,000, gave you a plug socket where you can have infinite abundance powered in, waved a magic wand and removed all of your energy and limited blocks and gave you an exact step-by-step process on how you uniquely turn 500,000 into 1 million, could you do it? The answer is always going to be yes. So I said, okay, we'll just backtrack that 13 steps, and that's Micro to Millions.
That's very interesting.
Wow.
And a piece that I picked up that you didn't actually state specifically, but it must be because of the way you described that. This is not something that you have a group of people all doing at the same instant in time.
No. We recorded it once with at least 8 people. Every single one of the recordings has got at least 8 people present, so that we know we've got the quorum. But the intention was set that every single person that's ever going to listen to it adds their energy to it. And then we have it in the recording that if you're listening to this at some point in the future, you're adding your energy to it and creating them. So it gets supercharged. Every time somebody else joins a program and does one, it actually adds more power to it for everybody else that's in the program.
Which is different from the McTaggart formula, because the McTaggart formula, it's live.
Yeah, you do it live at the same time. Everyone's tuned in. They're doing the thing, blah, blah, blah. But we layer in, like I said, a little bit more. We take the quantum entanglement a bit further, and then we include some of the stuff that I learned applying the Silver method, as well as some other stuff like timeline therapy and stuff like that. So we've looped it in. I've looped it in to create this kind of cool thing, really.
Very. Kind of. No, this is not kind of. This is very. It is. And you've been very successful with it. And you've had a lot of successful clients with it. I mean, how many people have you helped, basically set themselves up for life financially, whether they became millionaires or not? And you've told us there's some, they don't even care about being a millionaire. They just want to have the money.
I don't even know. I don't even know what the numbers are.
It's just too many to even count.
I know how many.
Cool. You know how you've been counting.
Yep. You went from micros to millions.
Okay.
I'm here all week. Thank you.
Literally. This is where I live. I'm going to be
Right?
forward.
You guys like my new space?
It's beautiful.
Ooh.
Thank you.
It's beautiful. It has the purple. I
The
expected
married
that.
space?
Well, yes, I felt like we needed a headboard. So I went above and beyond. And with my purple walls, I just took the curtain from the wedding and I was like, where am I going to use it? So I put it up on the wall.
Okay.
And then a chandelier, and there's a light in there, but I'm not using it right now. And it changes
nice-
colors, and it's a speaker. I love my light.
It's a speaker.
So I can, you can set the whole mood. You can turn the room purple, and then
Turn down the light. Put the speaker on.
Yep. Have a little red light.
Look at the chandelier, 'cause it's here.
Oh my god. Daniel, thank you, everybody.
I will also be here. Well, not all week because I'm not at home. I'm at the office, so I'll be here a couple of days a week. But
I love Thursdays. That's all I can say. I love Thursdays. Oh, any stress that might be hanging around is gone by the end of the show on Thursday. That's all there is to it.
Right?
Yeah.
We were trying to be all serious, and then we got a feet comment, and it just stopped.
Hey. Feet need loving too.
Literally. A lot of people love them.
Mm-hmm.
Very true.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I am glad that you were able to make the show, by the way. I'm glad that you had a nice session, but I'm really glad you were able to make it because I did want to get more from you. I want to know, I mean, obviously one of the best ways people can move themselves forward in terms of getting that money to show up they've been looking for is to take your course or take one of your courses or start moving through the system and so forth.
Grab the book for $1.
Yep.
DreamWithDan.com/money game. Grab it for $1.
Yep.
I did.
There you go.
You can't kill me with a discount, man. I'm gonna I don't care what it is. For $1, I want it.
Give it to me. Give it to me
now.
Well, let's take it a little bit broader than that. How about for somebody who they've got their own thing going, but they're having trouble building it?
The mind doesn't lose and the environment doesn't lie. Do you remember that Danism?
Mm-hmm.
So if you're not getting a result, it's because it's not accepted at the unconscious level. And what you're getting is the perfect presentation of what's happening at the unconscious level. So if there's a pattern of non-success, that means that success isn't included in the program. So the program needs to change.
Mm.
This is cool. I love it.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, you missed the beginning of the show and you missed the stuff that we've been talking about on the show for the last week. Last Thursday, when you and Alex couldn't be here, the guest we had is a woman named Kelly Coulter, who is a fitness instructor who has also helped other fitness instructors, particularly during the pandemic, to develop some online businesses so they could keep the money coming. Because when you're a fitness instructor, you can't actually do anything when you're in lockdown. You're kind of shut out. So she has a marketing background. She helped people a lot who were in the fitness industry get through the pandemic and actually many of them have some good online businesses going. But the question I posed to her was, at one point during the conversation, I said, do you think it's true? And I was kind of spinning a theory at that point. Do you think it's true that anyone could just start a Facebook group on any topic? Didn't matter what the topic was, just something that they liked, something they were interested in, and monetize it, turn it into a business. She instantly answered yes, and then we did a little experiment because Anne-Marie was on the show too, and so we did a little thing where she was helping Anne-Marie take the first few steps of getting something going. So there's the setup. So I'm going to turn around and ask the same question to you. Is it true in your mind that you can take any topic, any subject, whatever, turn it into a group, and then monetize it?
Yeah, but possibility doesn't equate to probability or how much money is going to be made from it.
Mm-hmm.
There are 8 billion people in the world. Some of them like feet. You're going to be able
we found that out.
You're going to be able to get money, but how much money are you going to get? That's the other thing. It's monetized if you make $1 a week. And monetized.
True.
But how much time and energy and resources are going to go into generating that $1 a week? So the measure of success also factors into this, but what is success to you in terms of monetizing? What level of monetization creates a profit even on the time that you invest into it? There could be a Facebook group that could be monetized for, I don't know, people that are really, really broke. They'll pay $1 a year to be a member of this group. All right. Okay, you made $1 a year. I'm really happy for you. Or it could be a Facebook group of high-level entrepreneurs who are looking for strategies to deal with the stress of everyday life and business, who are prepared to pay $1,000 a month to be part of a community that supports them with that. Now we're in a different conversation.
We certainly are.
You know? So, and also, we're talking about Facebook as the only place to create monetizing.
The only reason Facebook came up was I was just trying to name something that I figured anybody could feel on some level, yeah, I could do something there.
Yeah.
It's the same concept as the money game. I could probably attract $10. It's the same basic idea.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. So my thing is, yes, pretty much anything can be monetized. How much money are you going to make? Is there going to be sufficient interest in that particular niche or niche, if you're a weirdo, to warrant the amount of energy that's going to go into creating the platform, nurturing the platform, managing the platform, keeping it successful, and then actually generating?
Oh. Gregory's back. Apparently he's saying it's serious.
I did say that I know it's serious. I wasn't. Apologies, Greg. But
forgive us. I mean, we did have some cues that made us think twice, but
I have no comment.
He was German. Okay. Common surname. Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah. That was the other thing I was going to say. Yes. I grew up with a kid named Andrew Butts. Mm-hmm. So it happens. Mm-hmm. And I think he's Italian and German, I think.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Well, we did start to answer that question. Let's just revisit the answer, because you gave a great answer on that, Daniel. Mm-hmm. About how, in general, it really comes down to alignment. I guess that's probably the one word that we were talking about, right?
Alignment is the magic sauce.
Yeah. So if you're in alignment and you stay in alignment, which, by the way, is not always easy to do.
No.
It's simple, but not always easy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, we live in a world of contrast. Stuff's going to happen. It's just part of being here.
Yeah.
I think the real question isn't whether or not you're going to keep it going. The real question is, what are you going to do if you stumble?
What are you going to do when you stumble?
Yeah. Because stumbling's going to happen. So what do you do?
Mm-hmm.
Do you freak out? Well, then you're probably going to lose the income. Do you redouble your efforts?
Well, I don't understand if there's a problem, Gregory, because it doesn't look like there's a problem. It just how to stretch out this period of sales. Well, what are you doing that's working now? Something's working. Keep doing what's working. I think we overcomplicate stuff a lot.
Agreed.
I think we really.
Well, it's also it's a lax statement, really. It's basically saying, but what if
there's a fear? There's a fear. So I would address that fear, Gregory. Whatever the fear is that's having you question, but what if the sun doesn't rise tomorrow?
I mean, we can create what ifs all we want, and it'll just drive us crazy.
Well, I know someone, for example, he had an amazing run of period. Yeah, but what's going to happen about that? And what about the other thing that's going wrong? I know this is going right, but that's going wrong. And what's going to happen with that? It's like, okay, well, you could think about what hasn't happened yet and may or may not be true. Mm-hmm. So here's the thing. I think it's Wayne Dyer that said, when presented with two things which may or may not be true, why focus on the one that's going to rob you of your joy? Something to that effect.
Right.
There's a series of outcomes, all of which may or may not be true. Why focus on the one that you don't want?
Right.
There's a word that describes that. It's worry. Which is probably the most useless emotion in the human lexicon.
It's going to be up there. I think you probably struggle to find much use for it.
Yeah. I mean, but the only thing I struggled to come up with a useful situation for worry. I mean, even if I know that there's an imminent danger down the trail, I don't worry about it. I just keep my eyes open.
But that's the thing. Worry as like a first bite. Yeah. It's like, okay. Something to be mindful of and prepare for. Cool.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Beyond that, though, it's like, really?
Yeah.
I'm not really doing much for my life.
Beyond that, it's just self-induced anxiety. That's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
He says there's a fear that the pattern of sales may dip, and I'm getting overwhelmed by that fear.
Okay, well then, if they're going to dip, reality follows expectation.
Let's try that again with only one person talking. Dan, go first, and then Alex.
Ladies first.
Oh, okay. Alex, go first.
I said, if everything's going good right now, just ride the wave. When you're worried about things that could possibly happen that may not happen.
There's a drastic solution to this from reality transurfing, which is called running the negative slide. Mm-hmm. This is advanced. Neophytes need not apply.
Well, that's most of the show, so we're okay there.
So it's like, so the fear is sales may dip. set a clean container, be in a real chill place, not when you're already anxious. You have to consciously set the container to do this. Follow that to its nth degree. Okay, the sales dip. What happens then? What happens then? What happens then? And follow it all the way to its natural end so that none of it is unknown in terms of what your mind is cooking in the shadows. Mm-hmm. You take it to its natural end, then ask yourself, did you die?
Yeah.
Right?
Did the world end?
The world end. Because anxiety, worry, we're going to a future outcome that we don't want and pulling the emotional charge of that into the present moment, which then actually only makes us available to that outcome anyway. But when we make the unconscious conscious, it's like, oh, that's what I'm worried about. Now you've got the breathing space to ask yourself, is that what I want? No. Well, what emotional state do I want to be in? This. And then you can apply the stuff I teach in Stepping Beyond Intention, for example, and you can start to just migrate into creating that outcome versus, I'm stuck on this one.
This is an interesting comment he throws up. He says, I think I should channel my fear by trying to make innovations in the feet industry, planning to also sell dirty used socks and feet pick NFTs to stand apart from the
competition. Here's the problem, though, with that. If he's doing it from a place of fear, then it's doomed to fail.
Yeah. That's the problem. I mean, it's
anything. You can't sow seeds from a space of fear and expect abundant fruit. That's just not smart, bro. Like, it's not. Oh, here are my pear seeds. I can't wait to eat some apples. Maybe there'll be oranges also. I meditated about that this morning. It's not going to happen. Like the pear seeds, you're going to get a pear tree, Brick.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. The other thing that I note in this, you got this really good thing going right now, right? You got
Enjoy it.
Where's the enjoyment?
Right.
Where's the celebration? Where's the appreciation? You got this wonderful thing going, and you're spending your time on worry? Really?
Spend more time on gratitude.
Yep.
Why not just appreciate what's going on? I mean, a lot of people have a lot less going on, and they work on appreciation, and they can appreciate a lot more. You got a lot to appreciate.
Mm-hmm.
I say go buy yourself something and then look at it and go, I bought this with my feet money. I'm doing it.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm not saying don't do the innovations. Like, the space to innovate, go and innovate, but don't do it from a place of fear. Don't channel your fear.
Right.
Channeling your fear, no sense. You just put in the fear, the gunky fear into what? No, doesn't make any sense at all.
Fear and laser hyper focus. I don't like that.
Yeah.
It's basically the belief that if you channel fear, it will transmute into joy.
Right. That's not the way it works.
Which doesn't make sense.
Instead of channeling fear, just transmute it. Leave the other step out.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need to channel it in order to make that change.
Mm-hmm.
All the channeling is going to do is reinforce it.
Right.
It's just going to say, well, okay, I've been focusing on all this fear, so I'm going to channel it so I can get even more fear. It's kind of scary.
I know I came late, but I did have to leave early because I got to go and do something else.
That's okay. We're done.
But much love, guys. Next week I'll be around.
Same.
Yeah, I'm around next week.
Oh,
next week.
Thanksgiving.
Next week's Thanksgiving.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I would say
the week after I am not around because it's Olga's birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday in advance. Yeah.
Yeah. The week after that, I'm around.
All right.
The week after that, I'm around.
All right.
The week after that, I'm still around.
Then we can count on Daniel for 3 weeks in a row. We're loving that. That's a good thing.
All right. So,
but I'm glad you mentioned that because you're right that
next week
is Thanksgiving, so we won't have a show tomorrow. We won't have a show next week. We do have a show tomorrow. We have a special guest coming in tomorrow. This is somebody that Debbie G is bringing us. She is actually an expert at helping people use alternative therapies to deal with addictions. Her name is Josie Herndon. And really going to be a very cool episode, so check out that one.
Okay.
And then this coming Monday, Maria, who was here this past Monday, she's from South Africa. And Louie, who does Mondays with me, is also from South Africa. Louie couldn't make the show this past Monday, so she's coming back again. And we're going to hear the two of them chit-chat about their experiences in South Africa growing up and how they transmuted into their own healing experiences, because Louie has a whole background of having healed himself of a bunch of stuff. And Maria's been dealing with some a very severe case of, fibromyalgia for many, many years. So this is going to be a really interesting conversation from that perspective. And then on Friday, December 3rd, we got Dave Streckel coming in. So lots of good stuff happening.
Brilliant.
Anyway. All right. So Daniel, thank you much. Appreciate all your 30 minutes of help. We appreciate that. If we get 60 minutes next time, it'd be even better. Alex, thank you so much as well. And thank you to our podcast listeners everywhere. We will see you all next time here on LOA Today. Goodbye, everybody.